Hi guys, it's Nico.
I might keep that in actually. Okay, I'm back and I have someone in the background because I realized that the lighting in my room is horrible and Percy here has much better lighting than I do, so I'm stealing his room for now. I've decided to like film again because I didn't want to continue with my reading because I'm that organized as a student. I just decided that maybe I should just make a video about like why I'm doing the degree I'm doing and what exactly is a sociology degree and what does it really entail. When someone asks me, what degree are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing a sociology degree. And oftentimes I'm met with like, what? What is sociology? What is that? I don't even know what that is. So for those of you who don't know what sociology is, I usually tend to just use a really basic textbook definition, and I just say it's a study of society because that's what it is. And I get that like that definition is really broad in terms of like what it could potentially mean. I usually like to then narrow it down to say like, yeah, it's a study of like modern society and like social issues and the issues that underpin modern society and contemporary society. Yeah, I guess that's what sociology is. You study things like class, race, gender, sexuality, health, sort of like from a more social perspective. You study things like the categorization of class, the relations of race, the construction of gender, issues of sexuality, issues regarding opportunity of healthcare, things like that. Things like the politics of mental health. Like sociology is it tends to be really political. It's a political degree in the sense that like you do a lot about like how policy affects society and how our identities are politicized and like the political nature of our interactions and like our social life and how like we can't really live apolitically because there's always an implication, a greater, like a wider social implication to everything we do, no matter how minute it is. The sociological imagination. Charles Wright Mills. I know what I'm talking about. Die. Yeah, why am I doing a sociology degree? Funny you might ask. Because originally I wanted to be a marine biologist, and I've always wanted to be a marine biologist for a very long time until I went to check out the university I was thinking of applying to do marine biology, and I realized, yeah, maybe science isn't really for me. And that was sort of confirmed with the fact that I can't do experiments. I just can't do lab work. Okay, what?
He fucked up chromatography. Am I not allowed to swear? You're gonna have to beep that out.
No, you can swear. Yeah, I screwed up chromatography. I'm that horrible. I'm that horrible at lab work. As I was going through that phase of deciding what I want to do now, if I don't want to do marine biology, if I don't want to go down the route of science, I did some exploration in terms of like politics, because up until then I've been a very apolitical person. I just tended to stay out of politics. I didn't want to have anything to do with politics. I didn't get involved in political discourse. And then as time went by, I began to like become really invested with issues of race, gender, sexuality, class, identity, migration, all these things. And like I sort of come to the realization that these are the things I'm passionate about. You know, these are the things that I'm really interested in. And for a while I considered doing like a degree in politics or a degree in gender studies. And then I realized that like I didn't really gel well with the politics degree because a lot of it had to do with like how people are governed. Correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously I have no experience studying politics, but like I guess I didn't really click with political science or like government and stuff like that. I also didn't really click with things like gender studies or Asian studies. Like I didn't really click with like studies that like focus on a scope of like sociology, like a specific social category. I can't articulate this. I think because like I didn't really like how focused they were at an undergraduate level. I might consider doing them like at a postgraduate level, but probably not at an undergraduate level because I feel like I want to do something a little bit more broad. And then I came across sociology, And I was reading the description of what being a sociology student would entail and the things we learn, the things we study, and I'm like, this is what I'm interested in. Understanding how race works in modern society, understanding how gender functions, you know, in social life, understanding how class is constructed and stratified, understanding how inequalities are distributed, you know, from an economic, political, legal, and social perspective. And like, found these things so fascinating, and so starting from then, I put all my effort into working towards a sociology degree, and I put all my effort into working towards building my sociological imagination. If you have studied sociology before, I think you know what a sociological imagination is. Yeah, but if you don't, it's sort of like this theory, this concept theorized by American sociologist Charles Wright Mills, where it's sort of like understanding that our behaviors and our actions, our daily routines are not separated from like a social force, and that we're always operating within a social context. That's what a sociological imagination is. And so like, ever since I sort of like came across what sociology is, I sort of started building my sociological imagination and worked towards preparing myself to start a sociology degree. Then what does a sociology degree actually entail? Halfway through my first term of my sociology degree at the LSE, I started to realize that sociology is a very eclectic subject, which I really liked, because like when I was in school, I really liked the sciences, and I really liked the arts, and like sociology and social science in general is sort of like a nice mix in between, because you have the methodological aspect of it, which is really scientific, and then you also have the theoretical aspect of it, which is really artsy, you know, and you have this in between, which is like the almost political aspect of it, where you try to understand contemporary social issues from a methodological and a theoretical lens. So like, at least how it works at the LSE is that you have 3 compulsory modules in your first year where you study social theory, which is like different kinds of theories used to explain social phenomena like class, race, gender, colonialism, etc. And then you have a class on inequality where you try and where you're reading about contemporary issues in society, from things like the stratification of class, race inequality, gender inequality, the inequality of health or sexuality, stuff like that, to try and like contextualize these theories. And then you have, of course, a module on stats where you look at methodology and how research and different types of research and different types of methods can be applied when it comes to analyzing social phenomena and analyzing social issues. And so that's what I really like about sociology and social science in general, is how eclectic it is in their approach to like trying to explain everyday life, trying to explain the mundane, and then contextualizing it into something meaningful, if that makes any sense. I know I feel like I'm going off a tangent, but I'm hoping that what I'm saying makes sense. And that's sort of like what I really like about my degree, and what I really like about sociology in general. Like, of course, like, I don't think there is a student out there who's completely content with their university, don't get me wrong, but I don't want that to be the focus of this video. I think the focus of this video would be like, why am I studying sociology? What is sociology? And why I think it's a worthwhile degree to do. Like, I get that, like, because sociology is so broad, there is no set career goal at the end. I do think doing a degree that is so broad means that you have a lot of transferable skills that that prepares you for a lot of different types of industries. Yeah, for example, I can go into management, sort of because sociology sort of builds you to be the kind of person who's really in tune with like how people think, how people behave, how people interact. And so I could go into management, or specifically human resources, or I can go into public relations, I could go into social research, which is something that's directly related to the skills you gain through a sociology degree. I can go into things like development, public policy, because all of these things involve understanding social processes and how policy making and politics influence everyday lives of different types of people. So yeah, it's a broad degree, and it gives you a broad range of skills and knowledge that can prepare you for different types of industries in the future. So don't go in thinking that like with a sociology degree, like you can't do anything. I don't think like with an academic degree like sociology, unlike law, medicine or engineering, you don't have a set pathway, but that's only because they're building you for so many different types of industries that you can go into. So don't go into a sociology degree thinking I have no idea what I'm going to do after this. Go into it with a mindset of like, now that I have these skills, I can look into so many different types of like careers that I want to go into. I think it's important that like you go into a sociology degree knowing that you can come out of it with a broad range of options, and that you shouldn't like confine yourself to like, right, with a sociology degree I can only go into policy making or like social research. Like no, like there's so many things you can like get out of this degree. You just have to do a little bit more research into it. That's sort of all I wanted to say, really. I don't think I've articulated myself really well. I think like I only made this video because I just wanted to procrastinate from reading, I'm not gonna lie, and I think at this point we all know how disorganized and how really bad I am in articulating my thoughts. So hopefully I didn't put any of you guys off. Did I put any of them off?
I'm dissociating, what did you say?
Did I put anyone off with my articulation?
No.
Thank you.
Are you still filming?
Yeah, I am.
Hi!
Okay, that's it, and I'll see you guys next time, hopefully.
Wait. Hi! I mean bye, technically it's bye.